Is Oklahoma recruiting, and more importantly, Oklahoma on a tear that has it building back to the kind of program that can win championships? It's a question I've been asked, so let's answer it. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching, adapt and respond. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you believe that Oklahoma is on a tear that's going to have it contending for championships 2025, 2026, 2027, and into the future? I think this is worth unpacking given what we've seen with Bowe Bentley. I also want to take this opportunity to remind you we have an audio podcast on Apple and Spotify. And for those that go to Spotify, go to Apple, and leave us a 5-star review, I'm going to send you one of these stickers. All you got to do is go into the form in the description below, give me an address where I can send you a sticker and a handwritten note because it means that much to me. We're fast closing in on 400 ratings on Apple, which is very exciting. You guys still like the audio podcast? We're going to keep doing it. And we're going to get doing some live shows here right around football season beginning. All right, so is Oklahoma in a position to play for championships 2025, 2026, 2027, based on what we have seen in recruiting, the additions that have been made since the season ended, and frankly, what Jim Nagy has decided to extend offers for? Like, this has been really interesting to watch because everybody is learning something new about their programs and about college football as we have the House versus NCAA settlement that has been approved. So we're going to see players start getting revenue sharing money on July 1. We've also seen a lot of front-ended contracts for players that are paying them because, well, the revenue sharing is coming in. You're going to be able to cap how much you can spend on your athletic department at $20.8 million this year. But with Oklahoma, it's been interesting because OU went from having a 5-star quarterback that it felt very, very good about to having to bench that 5-star quarterback, bring him back, see him benched again, and then completely blow up the offensive scheme and fire the offensive coordinator, go a different direction with quarterback. It's not ideal. So not ideal that it has led to the second losing season in 3 years for Brent Venables after Oklahoma hadn't had one since 1998. It's been really, really difficult for Oklahoma to have losing seasons. This is a program that not only got used to winning a lot, but collected Big 12 championships like most people collect baseball cards. It was just a foregone conclusion more often than not. 8-5 is a bad year at Oklahoma prior to the arrival of Brent Venables. Then you have a defensive coordinator in Zach Alley, who decides that he no longer wants to be the defensive coordinator at Oklahoma. He wants to return to work for Rich Rodriguez at West Virginia, who gave him his first opportunity to be a defensive play caller at Jacksonville State. Thing is, Zach Alley grew up learning how to coach defense from Brent Venables. Actually showed up to Clemson not to play, but to be a coach, and it became a Brent Venables disciple, and you could see the dividends were being paid there. Now you have Brent Venables calling the defense again at Oklahoma, just like old times. And you have a young, fiery offensive coordinator in Ben Arbuckle, who has spent some of this June hitting dingers at the softball field. He is bringing with him a coveted transfer quarterback in John Mateer, who we expect could be a 3,000, 1,000-yard guy in the SEC in his only opportunity to do it, getting paid millions of dollars to have that job. And then you're adding more in the form of guys like Jaden Ott at running back, which I think is a very big deal for Jim Nagy, and being able to pull some of these more priority players, not just out of the portal, but from his NFL experience. Like, the thing that I've said about Jim Nagy is that he is in position to have the best run of a general manager of anybody in college football for one reason. He was executive director of the Senior Bowl, which means that he got to walk into everybody's FBS room, talk with their coaches, talk with their players, get to know them, to evaluate them for the Senior Bowl, and then he got to talk to the NFL about what it is they value and why they value these guys. And they would use him to learn more about the process, learn more about their players, learn more about what the expectation is. So nobody has seen more college football players, more NFL players in the past decade than Jim Nagy, who's bringing all of that experience to forming a front office that has dudes, right? We go from having a director of player personnel being the guy to now we have a general manager. We have an executive assistant to assistant general manager. We have a director of player personnel. We have a director of transfer portal. We have a director of scouting. You have an NFL style front office, and Oklahoma has been a bellwether, has been a leader in that part. Like, it's always been telling to me, who cares about winning football? Because the people that moan and complain about the rules changing are the ones that aren't willing to go win. Soon as Ohio State learned you could start paying players, that's what they did. Now, they go out of their way to say we paid guys that had already been here that we wanted to stay for one more year so we have an opportunity to run at a national championship. But you also could go get Caleb Downs at Alabama. You could also get Quinshon Judkins at Ole Miss. You could also sign Jeremiah Smith out of high school because money is not the thing. Same thing is true at a place like Oklahoma, where they have won back-to-back championships in multiple decades. It's the thing that we run on here. Now with Bowe Bentley joining the boat this late in the process, and it is late in the process for a 2026 quarterback, this only speaks well of what OU is building toward in the future. The thing to remember is that when Jackson Arnold committed to Oklahoma, he was not as highly rated as Bowe Bentley is now. There's lots of conversation about him being a 4-star. There's lots of conversation about what his name represents and how it's a perfect SEC name. But I'm going to go back to Salina being a place where they didn't win championships for about 15 years. And then here comes this dude, actually longer than that, because 2024, 17 years. Since 2007, leads them 16-0 in a state championship. Winning usually follows guys around. If you're a winner in high school, you're probably a winner. In college, you're probably a winner. In the NFL, winning usually pays out. Now, could this mean that Oklahoma is building toward an opportunity to play for championships 2025, 2026? Don't know about 2025. I've been very honest about this. Do I want OU to win a national championship in my lifetime? Yes. I would love nothing more than Oklahoma to win a national championship while I got this job, because that's been the thing. That would be so cool for me to be able to participate with you in such a run. And they got close more often than not. I mean, Oklahoma was the matchup in 2017 for Georgia, and I think could have beaten that team for a national championship. That LSU team just ran right through Oklahoma. That Alabama team ran right through Oklahoma. That Clemson team, on and on it goes, right? Now you're in the toughest league in the sport, and you're trying to climb out while your arch nemesis in Texas is doing everything they're supposed to do to try to win their first national championship since 2005. I think we're also looking at this from the standpoint of what kind of an athlete it is that Jim Nagy is extending offers to. Usually a multi-sport star, and that's by design. My guys at track and football, they would tell you, hey, if the dude can run track and or throw and or play basketball and or play baseball, that's a guy you want playing football for you. You don't want an athlete that has spent his entire life playing one sport. You want to know that they have learned athleticism all over. One of my favorite facts about Buddy Hield is how much soccer he would play in the Bahamas, and that contributed to his athleticism showing up at Oklahoma, because people forget this. That dude was not a knockdown shooter when he got to Oklahoma. Far from it. Buddy was not allowed to shoot the rock his first year at Oklahoma. He was Energizer Buddy, though, because he could D you up and he could run the floor. So you could always expect him to be the guy who was going to outwork anybody else up and down the court. And then Lon Kruger fixed his shot, and now we got one of the better shooters that ever come through OU and one of the better shooters in the NBA. It's about adding to it, right? It's a foundation that he already had. You didn't have to teach that dude how to stay in the gym or be a gym rat. You didn't have to teach that dude how to hustle. You didn't have to teach that dude how to move his body in space. He understood proprioception. These are the things that you're looking for when you go get an edge rusher, when you go get a wide receiver, when you go get a running back. So we'll see how many of these guys end up committing, but Bowe Bentley joining the boat speaks volumes for what he expects from Oklahoma, especially after losing guys like Kevin Sperry, losing guys like Jaden O'Neal. It was a very cool commitment for OU to pick up right when it did. So it can be a watershed moment for the Sooners. But again, I've seen 5 stars flame out. I've seen 5 stars become Trevor Lawrence. Only time will tell with the 4-star that is Bowe Bentley, but I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you I feel real good about where Oklahoma is headed for the future.